Hey, what is going on, guys? Spikebeat here, bringing you some Eisendrache gameplay. This is the brand new, well, not brand new, it's like a couple of weeks old by this point. But anyways, that's not really important. I'm just kind of screwing around on this. This is just mostly background for the commentary, which, as I'm sure you know from the title, is explicit language. And if that doesn't make sense to you, bad words, potty mouth, cuss words, pretty much anything that you would consider inappropriate to be said in a business interview, or anything that you wouldn't say in church, stuff like that. If a little, like, 2-year-old kid were to walk up to you at a party with your family and were to walk up to you and say something to you, and you would simultaneously laugh and tell the kid you can't say that ever again, that is probably going to be considered profanity. Now, kind of getting into this a little bit. Shit. Okay, kind of, I bet you guys understand. That right there, that's profanity. Someone knocked on my door, so it's a little annoying. But profanity is just pretty much anything that is inappropriate. It's words that, by society's standards, are inappropriate. Things that you should not say when you are trying to be respected. Anything like that. What exactly ends up making a word be considered profanity? It's mostly just context of how people are using it, but it's not one that goes away over time. This is colloquialism that is pretty much, it's built and it's never gonna go away. You see this with all sorts of words, like the B word was female dogs, and then it was used in such a way of that was basically guys would call women that to insult them over being not very considerate on who they were having intimate relationships with and stuff like that, to where it was then considered to be inappropriate to call someone that. Same thing with just about every word. The F word was like to enter like a place, and that changed into how we interpret it now. And pretty much you see all the profanity started off as being just regular words, but then people abused it and they used them in ways that was just inappropriate or hurtful to other people, and that's how it got into the point of being something that we consider cuss words or profanity, things that are inappropriate to be saying to other people. Now, kind of the next thing that you ask is, why would people be using this then? Why would this be something that, okay, we've deemed as a society that we don't like these words, and then why would we use them? Well, there's a couple of different reasons. One, generally speaking, by swearing a lot, it shows a lack of control. This is why you see people who, when they hurt themselves, you see a lot of cussing. You see a lot of cussing in situations where people are just very, they feel like they're not in control of the situation that they're in, because it's a good let out for that. It's it's easy to use curse words, whereas usually it's much harder to go ahead and use good words that are descriptive of your situation, that would require you to think longer about it, which generally in situations where you're highly stressed, you're not going to want to be thinking a whole lot. Another one, and this probably won't bode well with a lot of people who do swear a lot in their everyday life, would be they are uneducated. Generally, you see there's a very strong correlation, as with kind of the last one, if it takes a lot of thought to come up with better words for something. Well, uneducated people don't have that amount of thought process to outthink anything long enough to go ahead and, okay, I'm not going to use, like, oh, someone really hurt my feelings. Well, as an uneducated person, someone who's not going to be thinking about what they're going to say very much, not very deeply, yeah, it's totally easy to just start dropping some F-bombs at them and calling them all sorts of stuff. But generally speaking, the more you think about it, the more time you put into what you're going to say, you realize, okay, that's not going to get my point across, that's going to end up making the other person mad, it's going to only make me more mad. And it's one of those things to where you see it, definitely, there's a huge gap in that you can see, especially if, I highly recommend that you just watch and kind of look at the people who are swearing a lot, and take a look at yourself. If you're one of those people, this is a great chance right now to go ahead and try to change that for yourself and make it something that's a little bit easier on yourself. Something that, because especially going into job interviews, they're not going to want you to get a job if you are cussing constantly. That's just a fact of the society we live in. For 99% of the jobs, you might get a couple that they don't mind. The other one is that this is a socially modeled behavior. This is something that you see it everywhere. If you go to, pretty much you can't find any movies at this point, and especially in just in general, besides maybe going like G rated, but even then you get a couple of these things to where you have cuss words everywhere, like Madagascar. Like, think of a more like kid centered movie. Madagascar, when he's running on the beach, running away from Alex, when Marty's running, oh, sweet sugar honey iced tea. Yeah, just that's really nice to see in the middle of your little kids movie. But this is just everywhere. You see it in movies, music. It's something that we as a society have deemed inappropriate. So you see a lot of rebellion. You see a lot of people who just go ahead and they use it anyways. And it's something that that strongly helps build the amount of people who are going to be cussing and who are going to be using profound language. Profanity, sorry. Profound language, that'd be totally different. I wish more people in our society would use profound language. That'd be freaking amazing. But even like that, stuff that we've taken and instead of the F word, you use fricking or fracking or fudging, and you have all of this. We've taken things, and because we know that they're considered bad in our society, we've gone ahead and we've changed them up a little bit. We've made it something so that we can get away with it a little bit more, and kind of pushing the lines of how much we can possibly get away with on that kind of stuff. And a fourth reason, I didn't actually write this down. I have a list of things to go over. But the fourth one I'm kind of thinking of is, usually in our society, it's considered bad, but it's considered something that, depending on the context, can be have a very comic effect on the way you're seen. Because generally, you see it a lot of, sometimes cursing's funny. It's considered to be a good way to break the ice. Generally, you see it a lot in situations to where it's like, hey, did you write that paper? Crap. And just, it's those things that as a society we've deemed it inappropriate, but it's not bad enough to, it's kind of one of those, it's like a half bad, like, oh, it's not great, but you know, if it happens, everyone does it. And that's just, it's one of those things that's actually really interesting. Now, kind of getting past that part of the commentary, talking about why you should avoid cursing and why it's something that if you do it, now is a great time to try to work around and stop doing it before it's too late. One, like I said earlier, it is socially and culturally frowned upon, especially, I'm going off my demographics on YouTube. You are mostly going to be 18 to 25, and you're going to be American. That's just generally, comment down below if you're from somewhere else or you're a different age group. Let me know about that, but that's generally the age group. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm in the boat of, I'm pretty soon, I'm going to be going to college and I'm going to be getting a job. And those are two things to where it's not very, they don't like it very much if I'm dropping F-bombs and cursing constantly. They want to see some slightly more, you need to be more responsible, I guess, responsible, mature, and not be smart enough not to use language like that. It's very frowned upon. In fact, there are a lot of jobs that if you're cussing constantly, you're gonna get fired. It's behavior that, or if you walk into your interview and are cussing, it's something that you are very likely to lose the job or not get the job because of. So this is something that especially, and don't get me wrong, I'm not speaking like I don't do it, because I'm sure you, if you are watching this video, that you've watched some of my live streams. I have a hard time with it. It is definitely, it's something that I struggle with a lot, and especially more recently. It's been something a little bit harder for me, but that's one of those things where to stop doing it, some of the best advice I can give you is, one, consciously tell yourself, I'm not going to cuss, I'm not going to cuss. This is something that, it's really stupid, but it is extremely effective to just tell yourself constantly, like when you're going to bed, when you get up in the morning, when you're just sitting there and you're not supposed to be doing anything else, just tell yourself, hey, I'm not going to do this. And this works with all sorts of stuff, whether you're trying to eat better, if you're trying to do more homework, just constantly be sitting there, okay, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that, I need to be doing this. And it will really help you out a ton. And just that simple fact of telling yourself that it's going to happen. Another thing that kind of goes with that is just think about it. Don't, because a lot of times cursing comes from that state of, oh, I'm just not, I don't want to think about it. I'm just going to kind of let my words out. Something I say a lot of times, and it's usually more about the sarcastic things I say, is, well, I'm hearing it for the first time you are. And that's something that you need to work on, especially with situations like this where you're trying to reduce the amount of cussing that you do, is to stop and think about what you're going to say more. Because if you're thinking about it, if you're thinking about the next thing you're going to say, if you really put time and energy and thought into what it is that you want to say, you're going to say it better. You're going to say it in a more appropriate, more thought through, thoughtful way that you can use better words. Another little trick to it is just to remember that cursing doesn't make you cool. It doesn't make what you say any more important if you're doing it constantly. I mean, like I said, it's one of those things that we use a lot of the time as something to be funny, something to kind of break the ice a little bit. But you gotta remember that it's something that, if it doesn't break the ice, if it doesn't get perceived as funny, it's going to be considered very rude, very inappropriate. So it's one of those lines that you don't really want to cross, because you could offend someone very quickly and very easily when you could have totally avoided it. And kind of the last reason that you should try to stop cursing, if you are, is just the fact that by constantly cursing, you are going to be not very thoughtful. You're not going to be thinking through what you need to say enough in order to make a difference. Curse words are very lazy. They are not impressive. It's not good to be constantly using them, because it's very easy. It's not very hard. Like when you are doing something and you screw up, to just drop the F-bomb because you screwed up. That's easy. That's just, it's a cop-out to it. No, sit there and honestly think through what it is, what happened, and go through, okay, so I screwed up, this is what I did, this is what I need to do to fix it, and go from there and really give your mistakes some thought and how you can improve the next time. And this is something that by eliminating your profanity, you are going to see a whole lot of change in the fact that you're going to start going through and you're going to make better decisions from simply, it's amazing what just your vocabulary can have an effect on, how heavily it can have an effect on what it is that you are going to be doing, what you, pretty much the rest of your entire everything that you're doing, and how amazingly impactful just your vocabulary is. I hope you guys found this video helpful, informative. If you guys just drop a comment down below of what you think, your opinions on this topic, I would love to read them. I'd love to discuss that down in the comment section below. Let me know also down there if there's anything that you would like to see me make another video on, make a commentary on, anything similar to this. And please, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like on the video. It really helps me out. And as always, guys, subscribe for more. You can get notifications whenever I put up a video, whenever I go live, all of that good stuff. Plus, it just gives you another chance to interact with me, and I know that that just seems like so much fun to all you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you guys all have a wonderful day.